How you doing? This is the guy from Pittsburgh. Well, before I talk about what I'm going to talk about in this video, I got something to say. There's a guy on Bell Gab who said that none of my videos would mean squat to Art Bell's legacy if they disappeared tomorrow, none of my efforts. Well, there's about 1,600 people on Bell Gab. I've got one video about Art Bell when he quit Dark Matter. It's got 2,888 views. More people have watched that video than belong to Bell Gab by a factor of over 1,000 people. So that means people who've never even heard of Bell Gab have watched my videos. Other Art Bell videos are 800, 650, 150. So I have to be making some kind of difference out there, no matter what you think, Mr. Coaster. And the other guy, I can't even pronounce the name, made fun of me that I was asking for money. Well, I looked on YouTube, and there's buttons all over the place. Support my channel, donate my channel. And for some reason, they're working on my channel, even though I'm in the U.S., and I should be able to have that button. But there are dozens of sites out there that people ask to donate. Blogs, websites, YouTube channels. And even Bell Gab itself has a donate button at the very top of the channel. So it's the height of hypocrisy to attack me for asking for donations from people when everybody's doing it out there. All right. I had to put my 2 cents in. And what I want to talk about this time is zombies. Now, I know zombie movies are very popular. There's zombie books, there's zombie calendars, there's zombie everything out there. Even the Center of Disease Control had, and the Weather Channel had fake zombie stories and what to do during the zombie apocalypse. But what I don't understand is no one addresses some things that I've been thinking of, or at least I haven't seen them anywhere. What happens if, for instance, you're disabled? Do the seniors in senior homes all get eaten? And we don't see any seniors going down the road in electric wheelchairs. We don't see seniors walking in walkers. And if you wear glasses like me, I don't think I've ever seen a zombie with glasses on. How do zombies see if they've been infected and they wear glasses and they're blind as a bat? Because what I read on Wikipedia tonight, zombies hunt by sight and sound and hearing. So if you can't see when you're alive without your glasses, how are you going to see to attack anything as a zombie? And the other thing is, I think it takes about a year for your flesh to completely decompose. They have these sites where they test how long a body will decompose in the back of a car, buried in dirt, buried in a culvert, buried under in a swamp and whatever. Why don't we see zombies rotting? You never see the arms fall off, the legs fall off, the head fall off. I mean, is there something that keeps these things in? I mean, they're dead. They're shuffling at 2 miles an hour, but they're dead. They have no circulatory system. And a friend of mine I discussed this one night. What powers a zombie? If you have no blood pumping and you're craving brains, and yet you're a mindless zombie that supposedly has very low intelligence. The virus is powering you, I suppose, but you should be decomposing at some point unless the virus is somehow keeping your cells together. So I don't understand this either. And then the other thing, we see zombies all the time ripping someone's arm off, leg off, and eating them. Well, while the person's still alive, that means that person gets infected. The arms and legs get infected, or if they bite you and then you become infected, and or you're not infected yet, and they tear your arm off anyway, or do the zombies know if you're infected or not, and then after you've been bitten, they don't bite you again? I watched Mythbusters the other night, and they had segments on how to survive zombies by running through them. And one of the nastier things you do, you take somebody in a wheelchair and you push them toward the zombies, and while they're distracted with the guy in the wheelchair, you run through the crowd of zombies and you can avoid them. But when the population density gets too big, you can't avoid them. Well, you're not going to be out in the street with that. You're going to be up on a roof or in a bunkered building or something. And then the other thing, there was a little poll quiz. Where would you go if the zombie apocalypse occurred? Would you go head for the hills? Would you head for a military base? Well, I'd probably head for a military base, but the problem is, what if the military base is infected? And then they did there's a paper on Wikipedia that says they did some studies, and much like vampires, if there's no cure, eventually everyone's going to get infected. And then my question is, then, if everyone's a zombie, what are the zombies going to start eating? Each other? Animals? Dogs, cats, cattle? And what's going to happen to certain animals like dairy cows? They have to be fed. They're all going to die. So eventually the zombies will have nothing to eat. But we never see that in any movies. I briefly saw The Walking Dead. It creeped me out too much. There was a little kid zombie trying to get into a barn. That creeped me out. Little kids as zombies. And one of the Resident Evil movies had guard dog German Shepherds as zombie dogs. So that means they think in their mythos that pets and guard dogs can become zombies. So those are the questions I ask. You shoot the zombie in the brain. I guess bites do it, but I would think the blood of a zombie would, or if you I'm trying to think how to ask this. If you shoot a zombie and part of its body comes off, there's fluid or something coming out of that zombie. If that gets on you, do you get infected by that spray? Or does it have to be a bite to infect you? So nobody ever thinks about these things. And I would think that, the military there would be hordes and hordes of zombies in some cities, and they'd just gather all the military people they could, and if necessary, like in Raccoon City, just nuke the city. But the thing is, with air travel, how fast is this virus going to spread if it really happened? Now, they had a guest on George Norrie a while back said the only virus that could actually do this that we know is rabies. And it would not be a zombie apocalypse, but they have the urge to bite people. And they just discovered a new virus, the bourbon virus, that kills you. So now we got a new killer out there. It's not very prevalent yet, but we got something else to worry about. So that's my questions about zombies. I don't think the way they're portrayed in the film would really happen, because you can outrun one or two on foot, and you're not going to be. Most people are not going to be standing around their apartments or their houses waiting for the zombie horde. They're going to be leaving. The other problem is, if your town gets a zombie infection, as we've seen in Katrina and other disasters, the freeway is going to be packed. So unless you got a 4x4 or a motorcycle or your giant bug-out bus or something, you're not going to be using the major highways to get the hell out of town. So if you hear this thing, you're probably going to be taking side roads or something, and those are probably going to be clogged too. I don't know how you're going to get all these survivalists have their bunkers out in the woods, the hills, but how are they going to get to them in a zombie infection when everybody's panicking and trying to leave town to somewhere that hasn't been infected yet? So that's my questions. All right. I'm done with this one, I guess, and I'd like some comments on it. Do you think zombies, the way they're portrayed in the media, are realistic, or it wouldn't happen? Okay, Free Art Bell, Free Art Bell's Bumper Music, Free Coast to Coast AM, and Free the Duck, and this is the guy from Pittsburgh, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye, and have a great morning.